Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books and to Vlogmas Day 5. I'm Ellie. Today we're doing my non-fiction November wrap-up. I also read quite a bit of fiction in November, so I'm kind of going to be splitting a few different wrap-ups. I did a wrap-up for the 6 musical readathon that I participated in, so I'll link that below if you're interested. 2 of the books on here are in that video. I'll talk about them very quickly. But yes, first let's wait for Percy to get comfortable. Okay, you good? You happy? You smiley? Let's talk about the books. First one that I started the month off on a really high note, and I read This Is What a Feminist Looks Like by Emily Maguire. This is the rise and rise of Australian feminism. I realised when I bought this last month that I didn't know a lot about Australian feminism. I know quite a bit about feminism in general and sort of the suffragette movement in the UK, but I really didn't know much about the history here. This was incredible. I gave it 5 stars. It was just really informative, but it was also kind of fun. Like, I really enjoy Emily Maguire's sense of humour in here. There's some sarcasm, and it's just great. So I would highly recommend this one, whether you're Australian or not. I think it's a good read. It's interesting. And there's a lot of stuff in there that I just didn't know, hadn't heard of, because it hasn't really been talked about in the Rita general feminism discussions that I've seen online. So yes, there's that one. I read another Australian non-fiction, which I borrowed from my library, which is Dark Emu by Bruce Pascoe. I went into this book thinking it was a sort of like true history of like our Indigenous Australians. It's a book about agriculture. It is the agriculture of the Indigenous, Aboriginal, different, I can't think of the word, like clans, I guess. I don't think that's not the word I'm looking for, but that being said, I gave it 4 stars. Like, this was incredibly easy to read, despite the fact that I really have no interest in agriculture. I found it really enjoyable. And it definitely, I know a lot of people, when I posted about this on Instagram, so many people were commenting about how it changed their views, and it definitely did. There's a lot in there that I never learnt at school, and it definitely shows a different side to what the white settlers would have you believe about the native people of Australia. So I'm really interested to read more of Bruce Pascoe's work. I know a few people this month were reading Salt, which is, I believe, a mixture of fiction and non-fiction from him. So I would be really interested to pick that one up and see how I feel about the rest of his work. Now we are on to the ones that I read during the 6 musical readathon. These were 2 of my favourite books of the month. In fact, quite a few of these non-fictions were just like amazing. So first I read Women, Race and Class by Angela Y. Davis, and I have a new literary crush, ladies and gentlemen. It's Angela Davis. This was just so incredible. Again, this was a very different perspective on feminism. This talks a lot about the American side, which again, I didn't know a whole heap about. I knew a little bit, which I'll talk about in a minute. but this was obviously focusing more on the women of colour, and I really, really liked that. It was very well written, it was very informative, it was not dense, like it was very easy to read, but you still learnt a lot. And there are so many things in here that I have sort of looked up and read about since, because it just sounded incredibly interesting. And I think that's kind of the mark of a really good non-fiction book, is that you go and you read more because of it, or of any book really. So yes, I love Angela Davis, and I hope that I can read more of hers probably next year. I don't think I'm going to get time in December, but yes, hopefully next year I can read more of her stuff. And I believe there's also a movie coming out about her. I don't know whether it's out next year. I just saw an article saying that there was one being made, so I'm excited for that. And then the other one we have is Me by Elton John. Whew, this made me cry so many times, like 10 or 11 times. Elton John knew a lot of famous people, and a lot of them who died. So there's, you know, like John Lennon and Princess Di, and the one that got to me the most was Freddie Mercury, because that was painful. So I would highly recommend this. It was really, really well written. I didn't really have high hopes. I don't often read celebrity books or biographies, but this was definitely worth it, and I'm really glad that I ended up picking this one up. And then we kind of go into the like less great parts of Non-Fiction November. So we have The Handmaid's Tale and Philosophy, A Woman of One's Own, which is edited by Rachel Robson Green. I rated this one 3 stars. Honestly, it was okay. There were some really strong essays in here, and then there were some really weak ones that basically just like retold the things that those stronger essays said, but without, like, they didn't have a unique perspective. The writing was too complex, and like I get that this is like philosophy and pop culture, but I'm like, there comes a point where it's like, it is a pop culture book, like it should be able to be read if you're going to submit it to a book like this, I think. There was also a few examples where they spelled Atwood's name wrong, which I feel like in a book about Margaret Atwood, maybe you just want to check and make sure that there is only one T in Atwood. And then after that, I was feeling like some Atwood, so I read some Atwood. I read Freedom. I have thoughts about this. So when I bought this, I thought it was an essay, like a full-length essay. It's not. It's like a few page essay, and then it's just excerpts of her books. The essay was great. I would give the essay 4 stars, but I bumped this down to 3 because I spent money on just having chapters from The Handmaid's Tale. And I know it's my own fault because I should have looked it up before I bought it, but also I just feel like, you know, like I should have even read on the back, it says it, but I still just feel annoyed that I somehow got tricked into this. And I'm also annoyed that I bought the Toni Morrison one. We have a little upward lift thing. I don't know what that was. Feminism. For the 99%, a manifesto. I gave this one 4 stars. This one was like, this was good. It was, I have to say though, again, very complex, and like it's definitely not written for the 99%. Like there are a lot of theories in here, like social theories, and it's kind of complicated, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not completely like over all the theories. Like, I don't really understand them. Like, I know I do a little bit through doing like history at high school, but some of them I was just like, nope, I don't know what that is. There were ones that, yeah, I was really interested in and I continued to look up, but I think like if you aren't over those theories, if you're not an academic, then you're probably gonna need to look a lot of these ideas up, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, it's just, this is not a book for the 99%, but it had interesting ideas once I kind of got a little bit more of a grasp on them. And then we go down again, Alice Ball, Claiming Power. I mentioned, oh, Percy is literally just rolling over. He's just trying to push me off the couch. It's fine. Yeah, this one's been in a few videos lately. I just finally DNF'd it. I got to page 100. I got to page 130 and I was just like, you know what? I just can't do it anymore. This is just so incredibly dense, and I just, like, I'm interested. I think Alice Paul is an incredible woman, but I just felt like it was just too dense, too fact heavy. And I understand that Alice Paul was a very private woman, but I was just like, it just, yeah, it was too much. And it was very much like, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And it was just, I don't know. I would have liked a little bit more commentary, which was a little bit lighter to kind of break up the facts. So yes, I ended up DNFing this. And then finally, I mentioned this one just in my book haul and that I'd started reading it and I hadn't finished, but I'm gonna consider myself finished now. This is Me Time by Jessica Sanders. This is a book about self-care. I gave this one 3.5 stars because I feel like this isn't really anything new, but it also kind of made me feel good about myself and be like, oh, I do actually kind of know how to like practice self-care. So in that aspect, I think it's good. I also think this is probably a really great book for people who maybe aren't super well-versed in self-care. Yeah, I just feel like I have learnt things apparently over the years that I was already doing a lot of this stuff. You know, it's like, you know, like, it's talking about how face masks aren't self-care, but it's also like, hey, it's okay to do one. Like, it is a type of self-care, it's just not the whole thing. You know, there's things like write things out on paper, journal, you know, go to therapy, take long baths, watch an episode of Queer Eye. And I was like, I do most of those things apart, honestly, from watching Queer Eye. But yeah, I was like, I do these things. Like, I'm good at this. I know what I'm doing. So in that aspect, yeah, I think this is probably a great book for people who maybe don't know that, or maybe not know it, but need a little bit of help to like push themselves into that. That's my non-fiction November wrap up. I think I had a pretty good month. There's still a few non-fiction books that I want to get to in December as we round out the year, but I'm pretty happy that I got through all these ones. I had so much fun, and I would love to know what you read, if you participated. Yeah, if you have a wrap up, let me know, because I love watching them and I would love to go and check them out. But that's it for today. I'll see you all tomorrow. I think I'm going to be doing my just general wrap up of the month I may do something else. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I will see you all then. I hope you enjoy Vlogmas, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.